A red-hot Townsville Fire team. Two teams looking for responses as Canberra hit the road and take on Adelaide. In round 3 of this young season, the Capitals looking for a second victory. Adelaide for their first on their home floor, with plenty of fans in attendance at the SA State Basketball Centre, which was absolutely up in lights in round 1, and a big crowd expected here at Wayville this afternoon to cheer on the home team and hope that they can take down the visitors as we check in thanks to Minor Hotels. It's Adelaide and Canberra, the first game of a Saturday doubleheader. Great to have you with us. Joel Peterson alongside two WNBL champions as a coach, Laurie Chiswick, and a couple of times as a player, Beck Cole. Laurie, this is a really interesting matchup between two teams that'll be steeled and ready to go.
Well, you use the word how they respond. I think it's redemption time for these two teams after those big losses. They're both going to want to prove that might be a bit of a hiccup, and they are going to want to get back into that winner's column. And Canberra had it put on them during the week, Beck. They'll be they're ready to roll on the road today.
They sure did, and if you haven't seen it, there was one juicy press conference post-game from Coach Paul Goris, and he was one unhappy coach. And I cannot wait to see what Canberra come up with today, because like you said, Laurie, redemption is the word, and they will want to get one over Adelaide, that is for sure.
Paul Goris wouldn't have needed to repeat this message during the week. Let's hear what he said post-game.
We didn't look like a WNBL team tonight, and it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for ourselves, for our fans, for our first home game to come in and put, to me, a pathetic effort like that is not good enough for this group. And so I've got to take the brunt of like this, but we need to be better, and this is the starting point of we need to kick up the arse.
It's pretty strong stuff, Beck. I mean, how do you handle it as a player in the aftermath?
It sure is. They lost by 35 points. That's a huge margin to a Townsville Fire team that are very decorated. So for me, Canberra Capitals, they're a team that could be a championship finals contender. So for them, it's not good enough, and Adelaide, they better be ready for it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear how they did prepare a little while ago. Jade Melbourne caught up with their own Laura Hodges.
So Jade, last week probably didn't go as planned. Has it been a big week at training?
It has been a big week at training. It was first off a massive film session followed by a really hard practice, but if anything, it's what we needed. I'm happy it happened in round 2 if it's going to happen this season. Learn a lot about ourselves, and we're raring to go today, so it should be exciting.
And what are you going to do to stop the Lightning tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we know they're a team at any given moment can light it up from 3. They like to run. They've got athletes all over the floor. So for us, it's all about transition defense, making sure we tune into the defensive end. We've had a great week on the schemes. Lock into that, and then make sure we run the ball as well. So it's going to be a fun game.
Love your work, Jade. Good luck tonight.
Awesome. Thank you.
She's going to be a big part of it for Canberra this evening is Jade Melbourne, no doubt about that. That's the Canberra side of things. Let's head into the Adelaide camp with Jazz Fijo, who caught up with Laura.
Jazzy, you're a proud Larrakia woman and you're an amazing role model for your community. I know Indigenous round means a lot to you. Can you tell us about the artist for this uniform and the jersey and a bit about the story?
Yeah, so Tamana is the guy that designed the uniform. He also designed the 36s, so it's very similar to the 36s, but he came in yesterday and spoke about the significance of like what it means to him and what like special art like dot painting represents. He also had 7 or 8 students that was like a big part of this uniform, which is really like special because they're also a few of my students, so it was really cool. So yeah.
That's amazing. And you have just been a spark off the bench. It's so good to have you back in the Lightning uniform. The last 2 years you've won NBL1 championships with the Woodville Warriors and Centrals, and also playing SANFLW. What do you think the W is helped you on the footy field to be a better basketballer?
Yeah, definitely. Like Sample has definitely helped me. Like it helped my fitness, my endurance, like just lasting longer on the court. So yeah, they've been like the sport has been amazing for me. It's helped me use my body in a lot more different ways than I expected. So yeah, I just love the physicality now. So I'm very glad.
So great to have your company. We're underway here in Adelaide. It's just in a real hurry to get things. That's how ready they were to respond, this Adelaide team. Everyone in the stadium was raring to go, didn't want to wait a second longer. And they are on the board in the early going with 4 points here, Adelaide. Sanaya Fagan, who want to come up with a big response from that performance against Geelong last week. Adelaide led for a good portion of that first half and then ran into an absolute buzzsaw after half-time. Geelong putting up 110 points on Adelaide last week, and Canberra getting torched to the score of 105 by the Townsville Fire. So they both met red-hot teams last week, did each of these sides. But that doesn't excuse the performance and the need to bounce back today, Lou.
Well, when you talk about Geelong and the 110 that they scored, they shot the 3-ball at 65%. I mean, it is tough to defend a team that is shooting the ball that incredibly well.
17 of 25 they were last week. Sarah Blitzarves hits the second foul shot. Adelaide 0-2. Narrow losers to Perth here in round one. Canberra, of course, got the better of Southside, then lost to Townsville. Then Southside beat Townsville last night. So if you can follow that form line, you are doing pretty well. And a nice slashing drive as they continue to get the scoreboard ticking over. Serena Sundell starting with Steph Tolbert, Dallas Lockridge, Sean Rabati and Sanaya Fagan for Adelaide. Keith Morrell, Jade Melbourne, Nadia Poch, Katie Sissoko and Sarah Blitzarves, the starting five for Paul Goris and the Capitals. Sissoko's 2 is off. Morrell is able to go and get it. Can't put it back in. Fagan, who's going to need to bring plenty of energy tonight with the outlet pass. And another bucket here for the Lightning, who are off and running early. And that'll be a nice little confidence boost for Rabati.
And that's exactly what Adelaide need to do. Play good defence and run in transition. Get ahead of the UC Caps.
That's their game, isn't it, Beck? They really want to try and get some easy early looks out of transition rather than playing and grinding it out in the half court.
And that was one thing that Karen Mitchell spoke about last week as Tolbert hits it from downtown. Her first field goal, that especially in that second half, they just could not get any run in that game whatsoever.
And that's when they, you know, that's a team that's fairly new coach, a lot of new players. If they can get those early baskets rather than in the quarter court, because they're not clicking yet. They're still learning their offenses, so it does go a long way.
So it's always different with different teams, different coaches, different personnel, Laurie. But I mean, how long would you expect it to take to come together for this Adelaide team?
Well, I think every training session, every game that they step on the court together, they're becoming more familiar with players' tendencies, what they're comfortable with, what they can go to. But the leaders such as Steph Talbot and that, while that's happening, they need to make sure that they're totally involved and really share the load.
Sundell on the drive, getting inside, can't finish, but will step to the free throw line. Something that the Lightning haven't done particularly well this season. Get to the line just 15 times a game, has them ranked 8th in the competition.
Starting this first quarter, Adelaide's ball movement has been the best it has since round one. Really impressed so far how they've come out, but it's starting at the defensive end. And then on the offensive end, the ball isn't sticking. Everyone's touching, they're cutting off the ball. They're looking really good in this first few minutes.
Second will fall for Sundell. Out of Missouri via Kansas State University. First season here in the WNBL. Jade Melbourne, who hasn't got really going from a scoring perspective as yet. Playing that facilitator role for Paul Goris and the Caps, and turns that one over with an errant pass to Sarah Blitzarves. What have you made of Jade Melbourne's start to the season, Beck?
I think she's getting used to a whole new team. Yes, there's a couple of core players back. She has only Nadia Poch, though, as her remaining starter with her. And we heard her in that first game against the Southside Flyers. She said she doesn't want to be the player that has to score 20 points. She now has more offensive threats around her, but I would still like to see Jade get 2 feet in the paint, put up a few more 3-point shots, get herself going as well, because she is such an asset to the UC Caps.
Real firecracker when she does get going. Taylor Brazel out there now. Blitzarves in transition, can't hit. Sundell, who's plenty rangy for a lead guard at 184, sprints up the floor and lays it in with the left hand. And this is a lightning start for Adelaide.
Well, that's exactly what Coach Karen Mitchell would want Sundell, going coast to coast virtually, and she's been a bit passive in her first 2 games, and it's something that Coach Mitchell wants to see more of her. She knows she can play. Just get out there and do it.
Love to see more of that defence from Fagan as well. She's using everything, hands, feet, to try and stop Jade Melbourne. Morrell inside is fouled. And so, with the Caps to the free throw line. There's the block from Sanaya Fagan. They've only had 2 blocks in 2 games to start the season. Have the Lightning, not a lot of rim protection, and that's a really nice play from Sundell to go coast to coast. Teague Morrell, one of the most decorated NBL1 players in the land, 3-time MVP, 2 here in South Australia and then 1 out west with the Lakeside Lightning. This is the first free throw. That drains the second. Really 10-point lead.
It's so great that there's a packed crowd again at this game, and they were so vocal that first home game, and I can see that they're getting right into it now as well.
Brazel to the corner, Sundell, good for 3. 13-point lead for Adelaide, who have really flown the gates here. And Paul Goris has seen enough of that. Halfway through the opening term, the Capitals have dug themselves a hole. Adelaide 17, lead Canberra 4. This is a dream start for the Adelaide Lightning, just what they would have wanted coming off their loss last week. Let's welcome in the final member of our broadcast team, royalty in South Australian basketball, Laura Hodges, who's with an injured Canberra star.
Hi guys, I'm here with Zatina, Canberra's injured star right now. I'm sure you're itching to get back on the court.
Yeah, of course, but I think the girls are doing a good job. We just got to stay with Adelaide, get some stops, and we'll be okay.
And how is your injury progressing? Is rehab going well?
Yeah, rehab's going really well. We're progressing better than what we thought. So yeah, say much.
And you're traveling with a team? Are you the hype girl on the road?
I guess I've been designated, so I'm just doing whatever I can off court.
Well, thanks for being with us today, and good luck today.
Thank you.
Tina Akuso, she'll be terrific for this Canberra team when they are able to get her back in the lineup. Of course, they've got Zara Russell, the young Centre of Excellence star, who's replacing her at the moment, but a big piece that they still have waiting in the wings, Laurie.
Well, it seems like most teams sort of have a player of high influence, maybe not playing quite yet at the start of the season. And certainly Zatina is one of those, and to have her ready and back on the court, she's tough.
There's been a lot of injuries to start for a few teams. Bucket for Nicole Munga, who gets going straight away after checking into the ball game. Just the second field goal made for the Canberra Capitals so far. What do you think the instruction from Paul Goris would have been at the timeout, Beck?
I think Canberra might have copped a little bit of a grilling. Look, I wasn't down there. Laura might know a bit more, but he said they weren't good enough, and they had in his words, a pathetic performance. And to come out so far, let Adelaide put 17 points on the board, and the Caps only have 6. He's not going to be impressed, but they can't lose confidence. They can't get in their heads about it. They're a talented team. What they would do is, hey, let's get 3 stops in a row, and then we're executing our offense, but stay aggressive.
I'm glad you didn't try and quote him directly, because I'm not sure some of what Paul Goris said would have been fit for this time slot. Oh, Munga just straight out loses it under the pressure from Talbot. He's back the other way, bouncing off the contact. Great to see Taylor Brazel back out for this Adelaide team. Up by 11, 4 minutes remaining in this opening frame. Dallas Lockridge has been a great pickup for the Lightning. Cross-court pass, Talbot. Brazel can't hit. Rebound is almost pulled down by Tofeono.
That was a great skip pass by Steph Talbot to see her teammate wide open on the other side. Just didn't quite make the basket, but it was a good option.
Of course, the WNBL season, we're into round 3, well and truly underway now. There are stars all over our great competition. You can get all the info, tickets, season fixture by scanning the QR code on screen. Of course, head to WNBL.com.au for all the latest throughout the course of the season. 17-6. Adelaide with a terrific start. Joel Peterson alongside Beck Cole, Laurie Chiswick and Laura Hodges with you in commentary. First leg of a Saturday doubleheader with Geelong and Perth to come from the Pivot City a little bit later on this evening. Geelong 1-1, Perth the only undefeated team in the comp at 2-0. Sissoko from outside with a high arcing 3-ball.
And I was just about to say, I want Sissoko to see the ball more. That was only her second shot attempt, and she's averaging, at the moment, 17 points. So I think Caps just need to get her more involved. Look, she can bring the ball down in transition. She's so versatile.
Jada Clark's played some good minutes for the Capitals early in this season. Misses that one, but Munger scurries after it and puts it back in.
That's her second O-board, Munger. That's just something that she does. She's such a hard worker, does the things that aren't necessarily statable out there, but she's a real key to their puzzle.
Scored 8 of the last 10 in the ball game, Canberra, after they trailed 17-4. Paul Goris wanted the timeout. 3 minutes remaining in this opening frame. Fagan coming back into the contest. Steph Talbot on screen. What a star she is. Jazz Fijo checks in. Sandell going to the corner. Out there with Talbot, Rabotti, Fijo and Fagan. Sissoko thought about pulling up, kicks it outside to Munger, who's got that shot in the arsenal, and he's offline there. 0 of 6 to start the season from outside for Nicole Munger. Shana Rabotti just can't finish that one under the hoop. They're getting good looks here, the Lightning. Jade Melbourne driving inside, absorbed some contact. Kerry Mitchell was left frustrated last week that although they built that early advantage against Geelong, Laurie, they didn't maybe build it to what it could have been. They still missed opening layups in the first half.
Well, she talked about how they played well the last half against Perth and the first bit against Geelong. They just needed to put those two games together. But it's those ones that we call really gettable that you have to finish in a pressure situation in a game like this.
So Jade Melbourne at the line. Hits the second free throw. That was a bugbear of Paul Goris last week. Their free throw shooting. The Capitals left a little bit to be desired in that part of the game. 10 of 17 from the line. Steph Talbot underneath. That one just rolls off the rim, but she will go to the free throw line. Beck, from a player's perspective, you've had a bad weekend at the line. There was plenty of teams that had that last weekend. Is it just a matter of repetition during the week before you get going again? I mean, how can you turn that around in a matter of a couple of days on the practice court?
Some of it is obviously repetition. Just make sure you're getting your form in. But a lot of it is mindset from the free throw line. You've got to be confident. If you're second-guessing yourself, it's almost the hardest shot out there because no one is on you. You have all the time in the world. So it's just being confident and backing yourself.
That's exactly what Steph Talbot did there. She nails 2 to make it a 7-point game. Let's check in courtside with Laura.
Hi guys, I was chatting to Steph Talbot before the game and she said that they had a really, really good practice week and that they were just trying to simplify their defense. So they weren't trying to overcomplicate it and then they can get their stops and get out and run. And she really felt calm before this game.
It's always a good sign for a team coming together, and Steph Talbot's a terrific leader for this Adelaide franchise, Laurie.
Well, and she needs to have the ball in her hands a little bit more, I think, as she had the past 2 games. Whether that's for her to score, if she has a scoring mindset, but get her coming off some pick and rolls, get her moving off the ball, but just get the ball in her hands a bit more, I think.
5-point game, Adelaide lead, led by 13 earlier in the term. 2 minutes remaining. Lockridge is playing with some real confidence at the moment.
Canberra's gone into a 2-3 zone.
Talbot outside. Rattles off the front of the rim and Vardy can't keep it alive. Blitzarv's on the other end to Clark, and now Melbourne working on Lockridge. Taking her down low, outside, Blitzarv's puts it on the floor, driving inside all the way through and one.
And Sarah Blitzarves has come out today with an aggressive mindset. In round 2 against Townsville, her shooting percentage wasn't really up where we know it can be, but she is getting 2 feet in the paint today, and this is her second time to the line. I'm really liking this by Sarah.
Star she's been for so long in this competition. Great to have her back out there. As we know, her journey back from spinal fusion surgery, and one of those things that, Beck, we probably still shouldn't take it for granted that she is able to play there.
It's so amazing. Sarah is one of my dear friends, and to see the process she's gone through from finding out what injury it really was to then going through the hours that you put in to look after your body. And now to see her, she had an NBL 1 season with the Melbourne Tigers, you know, to get fit, put her body back in those basketball situations. And now we see her out here today, and she's looking better than ever.
One thing I like about that whole story is that she's back in love with basketball, and you can tell.
Sissoko ties things up, so Canberra have really come back with a hurry here. Paul Goris would be delighted with what he's seen from his team after being down 17-4, and now Melbourne with the pickpocket races up the floor and puts Canberra ahead. And this time it's Karen Mitchell who needs to call for time and talk things over. Canberra have raced ahead, and on the Amy replay, this is Jade Melbourne at her disruptive best.
And look at the passion after the game. Jade is happy about it. Sissoko is letting her know, great job. Paul Goris, great timing with the timeout, and they went out there and they got defensive stops. They're a good team. They don't need to rush. They just need to stay calm. But I think one person who has really been a big impact for me, Jada Clark. We see her getting up the floor every single possession. There we see Jade Melbourne, but they're doing full court pressure. And now Adelaide, what's their chess play here? What are they going to respond with?
Jada Clark's played important minutes, 15 and a half a game. Of course, had the ACL injury last season, spent a lot of time working on her body and on her game in the off-season. The young West Australian has come back bigger and stronger. That is for sure. They trailed 17-4 when Paul Goris called that timeout, Laurie. Since then, they have outscored Adelaide 17-2.
Well, you have to say that they, whatever he said in there, bottle up, because they certainly responded, and they needed to respond to that. You know, they were digging themselves a big hole out there. Now we'll see if in this last minute and then the start of the next quarter what Adelaide can bring, see what they call out of the timeout.
So Sundell leads all scorers with 8. Talbot's got 5 for Adelaide. Blitzarves and Munga both with 6 for the Caps. Nice find inside. Sundell almost into double figures, just rolls off the side of the rim, has another go, can't finish that one. Recycles the possession. It's Talbot with a hand in the face. It does not worry her.
And if Talbot sees a couple of three-point shots go down, you know it's going to be a good night at the office. So Canberra need to find her early, need to get a hand up.
6 of 13 now on the season from outside is Steph Talbot. Sundell thought about it. Time winding down in this opening term off the hands of Melbourne. It'll stay with Adelaide, who jumped out of the blocks, led 14-3, then 17-4. Canberra came back to head them, but the 3 from Steph Talbot has given them back the advantage. And they'll have a sideline ball with a couple of seconds to work with here to close out the quarter.
Get the ball back in Steph's hands. Let her shoot another 3.
Simple recipe. Down low, Rabadi to beat the buzzer. Can't finish. And we go to quarter time in a back and forth affair. The hosts Adelaide up by 1. It's the Lightning 22 to the Capitals 21. Quarter time in Adelaide. It is a 1-point game. The Lightning flew out of the blocks. Canberra came back at them at the end of that opening term. 22-21 at the end of one. Joel Peterson alongside Beck Cole and Laurie Chiswick with you. Laura Hodges is courtside. Laura, what did you take away from the quarter time huddles?
Well, I got to listen in to both huddles and they were both very calm. Paul Goris, he just wants a lot more hand pressure. He wants to make sure that they put the ball to the floor, no open threes. And then the Lightning, they want to limit their turnovers and they still want to rebound and run.
5 turnovers for the Lightning in that opening frame for the Caps. Shooting 8 of 18 from the field. Adelaide 7 of 16 for Canberra. Poch, strong take and an equally strong finish.
And I like to see Poch get 2 feet in the paint, see his shot go down. She can be a real asset to this team. She's so long, she's so athletic, and she's hard to stop when she's in the key.
Proved exactly that last time these two teams met, had 27 on 11 of 20 shooting. Body's banging inside, and it's a nice finish. And Shan Rabadi has started well. Hadn't found her stroke to start the season. She was 1 of 11 from the field coming into today, and is 2 of 4 out of the gates. Adelaide back on top as they trade the lead to start this second quarter. Blitzarves dribbles into that patented mid-range pull-up. And call going against the Lightning on that possession.
Well, Rabadi did the right thing on the break. She was trying to run, get a deep seal. Arms sort of got caught up, and the referee just thought that she probably hooked her and called the offensive foul.
Both teams ended up in the bonus in that opening quarter. Melbourne Blitzarves, Sissoko, Poch and Nicole Munger out there for Canberra at the moment. Sissoko can't hit that one. Sundell Lockridge, Talbot, Rabadi and Ash Strawbridge out there for the Lightning. Talbot left alone for 3. He's offline on that occasion. 3 of 8 from downtown Adelaide, 1 of 3 Canberra. They don't get a lot of threes up, this Capitals team. Sissoko almost lost the dribble. Turnaround, no good. And then it's fumbled away. You can see the frustration from Steph Talbot. Blitzarves, crafty move.
Well, she found a way. She thought she got by her first defender, then there were 2 more, and for her footwork to get through and score that was exceptional.
I'm not sure that one's in any textbooks, but it's in the Sarah Blitzarves playbook, that's for sure. She does the unconventional very well, Beck.
She sure does. She always just finds a way to create space. And what's so great, she's a 3-man, but she's so tall. So a lot of the times she has that high release shot. She can get it over a smaller defender.
She's an unbelievable athlete, as she has been throughout the course of her career. Melbourne flying to the hoop, can't finish. Poch takes it off the rim and can't put it back in. Rabadi out and running, and a beautiful step through from Serena Sundell, who's in double figures.
And hasn't she been great today in transition, Laurie?
Well, she really hasn't, and as I said, she's been a bit passive, averaging 9 points, and she's already, 10 points, and it's only the second quarter, so she's certainly being involved in this game.
Lead changes on each of the 4 baskets to start this second term. 26-25, Adelaide over Canberra, of course. Geelong and Perth still to come a little bit later this evening. 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 6:30 if you're in the great state of South Australia. That one coming your way from down in Geelong. Melbourne running the offense for Canberra. Poch putting it on the floor, slicing her way through the defense, just can't finish. Tonight, Fagan pulls down the rebound. It's her 4th of the contest thus far. That's an area that they will have wanted to improve in, Laurie. That rebounding count, it has not been friendly to Adelaide in their opening 2 games.
Well, it's a matter of, and anytime a team wants to run, they have to block out, find a body so they can secure that rebound, get the outlet. So I'm sure that's a focus for theirs to make sure that they don't give Canberra any second chance opportunities.
Sundell, Lockridge, Talbot, Fagan and Taylor Brazel out there now for Adelaide. Fagan puts it on the floor. Tough finish. Just couldn't get the English required on that one to get it home. And Ikbabongi out there now for Canberra. Talented young player out of Queensland. It's a nice finish up the middle. And another lead change. So 5 buckets in this second term. 5 lead changes. Look at Dallas Lockridge stepping through the defense.
Well, I was just thinking about Lockridge. Last game, she scored 18 points against Geelong, and we haven't seen her really have a scoring mentality today. So that'll be good for her and for her team.
Leading scorer for Adelaide this season at 15 a game. She has been a great value pickup. Of course, champion a couple of times alongside Beck at the Southside Flyers.
She's really developed her game, and I think it was a great move for her to go to Adelaide Lightning. She can do it on both ends of the floor. She can get up and in on defense, full court. She's a great three-point shooter. She loves a cheeky little left step back, and she's so crafty inside because she is shorter. But now she has the opportunity at Adelaide to really lead a team and be that head point guard. So I can't wait to see what she can do this season.
And still only 21, Beck, so got a lot of good basketball ahead of her.
She is. For me, she's a baby still in the WNBL, and she came out of the centre of excellence with our first season at the Southside Flyers with her. She unfortunately did her ACL, and I was in the exact same boat. I tore my ACL going from my junior to my senior career, but she's come back. She's such a hard worker, and I'm so proud of her to see where she is right now.
She's doing really good things at the moment, is Dallas Lockridge. First field goal of the game. Fagan drops it inside. Sundell tosses it straight back. They fumble around with it. 5 on the shot clock here for the Lightning. Fagan, 3-ball, round and out. Rattled out of the rim. And caught the steps there was Naidu Poch.
And you spoke about Fagan, GP. She's just someone who I think can really elevate her game and be a really big impact for the Adelaide Lightning. She's strong, she's an athletic body, she can do it inside and outside. Again, she's still only 22 years old. She just had her rookie season with the LA Sparks in the WNBA. She went to the University of South Carolina. And there we see Dallas with that 3-point shot. But Fagan, like I said, she just is someone who I think if she can find her feet and get going, she could be a real threat.
Well,
so 33-27 for Adelaide off the Lockridge 3. 4:12 remaining, second term. There's a lot to like about what Adelaide have done to start this one. Fagan, you speak of, Beck, 4 and 5 to start this game. Sundell's got 10, Talbot's got 10. Lockridge now with 5 points, having made her last 2 shots of the game. Karen Mitchell would have to be delighted with what she's seeing from her team so far.
She would. There's already 2 people in double figures. Then you have a Rabadi and Fagan on 4 points. And then, yeah, Dallas with the 5, but also with the 3 assists. So she's moving the ball around, getting her teammates involved. So it's great to see.
The other thing I like about Fagan, and we know that she was recruited partially for her defensive prowess and had a great college career and defensive player, and so that is something that Karen really wanted to see, and I think she's doing a great job at the defensive end today.
She looks a lot more locked in so far. 6-point lead to Adelaide. 4:12 remaining in this second term. Great to have you with us. A WNBL doubleheader on this Saturday afternoon. Geelong and Perth still to come a little bit later on tonight. Laurie Chiswick, Beck Cole, your expert commentators this afternoon, and great to have Laura Hodges with us courtside. Laura, what happened at that timeout?
Well, guys, there's a lot going on down here. There's a little bit of a problem with the scoreboard right now, but just before that timeout, Jade Melbourne asked for a sub. She was absolutely gassed. So the running game of Adelaide, I think, really has bothered her in these first 2 quarters, but at the moment the scoreboard is wrong, so they're trying to fix that. But Gorry, in his timeout, he wants his team to go inside and he wants to absorb the pressure.
Hey Laura, I think the scoreboard says 26-25 Adelaide, am I right? Surely the locals are pleased that at least it says the home team's leading?
Exactly. I think they're still cheering. They're very much happy that the Lightning are in front right now.
It's going to get stuck on anything in South Australia. You want it stuck with the home team up. Watch from outside. Can't hit. Sundell, Lockridge, Talbot, Fagan and Brazel, the lineup that Karen Mitchell is rolling with at the moment.
And I think you could tell Paul Goris definitely they trained this week on their defense and how aggressive they wanted to be. You heard Jade Melbourne ask for a sub. I don't think I've heard that since she's been in the WNBL, but she's getting pressured by Adelaide, so she has the responsibility of bringing up the ball with someone in her grill. Meanwhile, she also, and Izza, that's why she is at the Canberra Capitals, for her defense. What a great charge. And then we go back to the defensive end with Melbourne, and she's now having to be full court, pressing up. But this is what's so great. You can bring in someone like Izza who can keep doing what Jade was on the defensive end.
It's the kind of play that can really spark something for their team. Tefeono was set to come in and sent back to the bench. Rancatizano with Clark, Koch, Munger and Morel. So Morel, the lone starter out there at the moment, has it up top, looking down low. Nice pass from Munger. Now comes back to her. Morel with the mid-range jump shot, can't hit. Poch picks it off the rim and puts it back in. The athleticism and length of Nadia Poch on full display there. Lockridge for 3, got it!
And you cannot give her that much time and space. With her feet set, Dallas is a lights-out three-point shooter.
See it here on the Amy replay. It's a good-looking stroke, Laurie.
It is, and that was just great dribble penetration and then kicking it back out to Lockridge, who doesn't need a whole lot of time and space, but she was ready for that catch and shoot.
Of course, the Indigenous round in the WNBL, Dallas Lockridge was one of a couple out there this afternoon, or one of 3 who played in the Indigenous Basketball Australia team against the Māori All-Stars at the State Basketball Centre earlier this year. Had Monique Babongi on that team as well, and Jazz Fijo. So there you can see the scoreboard trouble they're having in venue, 26-25. Adelaide up 36-29 at the moment, 3:13 remaining here in this second term. But it is such a great celebration of First Nations culture, not only in basketball, but in society more broadly, and it's on show. You see Canberra's next 4 games. It's a tough little stretch for the Capitals. Away to Sydney, and they play at Bendigo, home for Sydney, and then away to Townsville, which will be a very tough. So their first double header coming up next weekend for the Capitals. Adelaide has still got a couple of weeks before they play a double. That's that weekend against Townsville and Bendigo, so the 2 grand finalists from last year.
You can look and see that. Sorry, Joel. The referees' uniforms too have the Indigenous designs on them, and I just think they're absolutely stunning, the uniforms and what the artists can do and the stories behind them, and it's really inspirational. I mean, just look at those uniforms.
Absolutely. So this is what's still to come this evening.
On that jersey,
as the Indigenous round rolls on. Geelong Venom and Perth Lynx down at Geelong Arena. The Perth Lynx undefeated so far in this season. And Geelong, well, didn't they have a contrasting weekend last weekend? Scored 110 against Adelaide, and then 55 against Bendigo in an absolute rock fight on Tuesday night in Central Victoria. So what they can produce at home a little bit later this evening will be very, very interesting to see indeed. 36-29, 3:02 remaining here in this second term while we've got a stoppage. Laura, keep us up to speed with what's happening down there.
Well, at the moment, it's an umpire's timeout. I feel like the officials are sweating more than the players. They're racing around, trying to fix everything that's going on. So they'll probably need an ice bath after the game. But going back to the jerseys, one amazing story behind the Lightning jersey is they've got 5 stars on the front of their jersey, and that means the 5 stars from their 5 championships, which is pretty incredible, and that's what they're striving to get back to do.
So much history in South Australian basketball. Laura, if you've still got us there, the energy around basketball in Adelaide at the moment, of course, the 36ers are up and rolling with Bryce Cotton. This team's come in and made a real impact. Another big crowd at Wayville this evening. It seems like that the whole state is getting behind this code at the moment.
Oh, it really is, and I can see DJ Vasilovic is sitting courtside here supporting the women, and the fact that the 36ers have had sellout crowds for the last 3.5 years, now 2 sellout crowds for the Lightning, and there's a lot of the players that junior basketball have been playing on the courts near here, and then they've all been walking in to watch the Lightning, which is, and my daughter was one of them, my 7-year-old playing her second basketball game, but she didn't get tickets to the game today.
Very, very cool. Great to have Laura Hodges, Adelaide basketball legend, with us courtside. You can win a signed ball, an official WNBL match ball signed by the choice of your team. One of the 8 teams in the competition. Scan to enter on screen. QR code on screen at the moment. That would be very, very nice indeed for the pool room or the shelf in the bedroom.
Well, Adelaide are the only current club right now that have had a 3-peat in championships. They've got a proud history, but they haven't won a championship since 08, so they are going to be keen to try and change that this season.
There's a whole new energy around this franchise with how things have changed in the last little while. But, I mean, this is a storied team in Australian basketball history, dominant through so much of the 90s and in the 2000s, just a consistent challenger over a really long period of time in this competition.
Absolutely. So 94, 95, 96 was when they had that 3-peat, and the only other team to surpass that is the Nuttawading Spectres that won 4 in a row, the only one in history. So Adelaide they have, and to think the fact that they were almost out of the competition at the start, this is just phenomenal to see, and so great for South Australia to back them.
Absolutely it is. Laurie Chiswick, Beck Cole, Laura Hodges with you. Saturday doubleheader here in the WNBL. 2.5 minutes remaining. Adelaide up by 7, 37-30. They're just keeping Canberra at arm's length at the moment, Beck, of the Lightning, and doing a pretty good job shooting 50% from the floor.
They are. Their shooting has obviously been remarkable so far tonight, but again, it's a ball movement for me for Adelaide. Everyone's getting touches. They're all looking for each other. And then on defense, if they're not getting steals and stops that we see on the stat line, there's so many deflections that they're getting, or they're making Caps go not to their first scoring option, but to their second or third.
They've played their games in contrasting ways. Of course, they were down in a big hole against Perth in round 1 and rattled all the way home and nearly ran over the top of the Lynx. Last week, they jumped out of the blocks and then got absolutely eviscerated in that game by Geelong. With 6 minutes and 30 left in that second term last week, they led 36-23. From there, they got outscored 87-40. And Geelong could not miss. As much as Karen Mitchell and Adelaide would have been left disappointed, they ran into an absolute buzzsaw last week in that Geelong United team.
Well, and she said they threw everything at them. They tried some zone, they tried small ball, they tried to slow it down. They just, you know, it wasn't for lack of trying different options.
Litzarv's looking for Sissoko with the pass. Foul be called on the Lightning. particular foul trouble for anyone as yet. Fijo's got 2, so does Fagan. Sean Rabati's got a couple and he's sitting at the moment.
If you look at the lineup that Canberra have on right now, they have the luxury of, they're very similar in height, so they can switch everything really aggressively.
Offensive foul, apologies, as Fijo passes inside. Ends up with Fagan, goes baseline. Here is Jazz Fijo. Heard from her pre-game with Laura Proud, Larrakia woman. Part of Adelaide's Indigenous round celebration here in the WNBL. Under 2 minutes remaining in this second term. Sissoko down low for Blitzarves, turning around, beautiful feed for Poch, who just couldn't finish, but it'll stay with Canberra.
What a great pass by Blitzarves. In fact, I thought she was going up to shoot that, and just a great shot from her, but even a better shot for her teammate. Unfortunately, wasn't able to finish.
Melbourne inbounds to Sarah Blitzarves, puts it on the floor, has it stripped by Fagan. Talbot with the outlet pass. And Fijo and Melbourne clatter into one another. Third foul on Jade Melbourne. That's a little bit of a worry. She's got 3 steals, 5 assists to her name, and got up close and personal with Jazz Fijo there.
And Laura mentioned it earlier, but Jazz has just been a great spark off the bench. She had a stellar off-season in the NBL 1, and she just brings that energy, she brings that spark, and she can get 2 feet in the paint so well, and her vision is quite remarkable. So I think she's a great asset to come off the bench for the Lightning.
And the other thing she does really well is she picks up full court. So as soon as there's a score or a change of possession, she is up guarding the ball handler to take away that defensive trend, or to take away transition.
Does everything with energy, does Jazz Fijo. Ran into her at the airport after the NBL 1 National Finals, and they hadn't had a great week, the Woodville Warriors, and she's still up and bubbly and ready to roll. Poch banks it home. She was ready to go and get the offensive rebound. Not required.
She did. She blasted in after her shot.
She thought, oh, no chance here. This is about a foot long. Luckily, the bank was open in South Australia on a Saturday afternoon. Jada Clark off and running. 5-point deficit. Under a minute remaining. Blitzarves for 3. Front iron. Rebound secured by Rabati. Out there with Fijo, Talbot, Brazel and Sundell to close the quarter. Fijo speeds up the floor and lays it home. Coast to coast for Jazz Fijo.
What a finish. That's not easy. And that was with her left hand on the left side of the basket. We just see her put the jets on. Don't mind me. Gets Hezzy, crossover left hand. What a move by Fijo.
Well, it was, because she had a push in the back there, which is why she finds herself at the foul line as well. But just exactly what we were talking about, the energy, the speed with what she can bring off the bench to this team.
She went absolutely flying into the basket apparatus. Ricocheted back into the court. So we'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Shoot one, in fact, just the bonus. Has already hit a couple so far and misses that one, so 2 or 3 on the evening. 41-34. Couple of possessions remaining here in this first half. Adelaide looking for a first win of the season. Jump ball. Possession arrow will keep this one in black with the Caps. See there the Ngunnawal country on the side, the sleeve of the Canberra jersey. Sissoko, Munga, Clark, Blitzarves, Poch, the 5 to close the quarter for Paul Goris.
8 seconds on this shot clock from the baseline out of bounds play.
Just under half a minute on the game clock. Strawbridge comes out. Talbot comes back in. Clark gets it to Sissoko, turning around, just flings it at the rim, goes up and gets it. And again, this time it'll fall.
Well, you have to say, if you're going to give somebody like KD 3 chance opportunities, she's going to get one of them.
Might have to start keeping a new stat. Have second chance points and third chance points for Katie Sissoko. That was the first one, which was a bit wild. The second one was a little bit closer, and third time lucky.
But what about the determination? Just never giving up, not putting her head down because she missed a shot. That is the mentality that I think Sissoko can really bring to this Canberra team.
They've got 12 offensive rebounds in this first half, the Capitals. So 12 defensive, 12 offensive rebounds, plus 8 in that category as again Sundell gets a window to the basket. Hodge takes some contact on defense. An offensive foul going against the Lightning. Looked like that might have been the call. He's going to stay at this end with Adelaide. Hodge is a bit confused. She thinks it's going back with Canberra, and it is. It took a little while to get there.
So it really wasn't a great decision. They should have gone for one shot. There was a very little differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And so now Canberra have, almost 20 seconds to set up a play and score.
They can get a really good look at it here. Adelaide had it a 3-possession game a couple of moments ago. Canberra can get it back well within one score. Time left for Sissoko. Back to Clark. Who can make something happen? Brent Catazano got it at the buzzer! From downtown, hits the 3. And we go to half-time with only 1 point separating Adelaide and Canberra. And that is a beautiful way to finish the half for the visitors.
What a skip pass right there to find Brad Catazano, and what a clutch shot. You know what? That gives them momentum right now. You see some heads down from Adelaide. But Jada Clark, what vision with a low shot clock. Feet set by Izza.
She's come in and made a couple of big plays, took the charge earlier in the quarter, finishes it off there and gets the adulation from the bench. Nicole Munger absolutely loves it as they go to the half. It is still Adelaide in charge though, 41-40. And let's go down to Laura.
Well, I'm here with Serena Sundell. Great first half of basketball by you. You're really pushing it in the offensive transition. Is that a focus for you this game?
Yeah, a little bit. I wanted to be more aggressive. I think when I'm aggressive, I can get to the basket or find my teammates. So it's been a focus.
As a team, you've had a great start. You've weathered the storm. They've come back now. What do you think you need to do in the second half?
Yeah, we got to come out and have a good push right away at first. We got to rebound a little bit better on the defensive end and stay clean. We're fouling a little much, but out of the gates, it's really important.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great job.
It's a Saturday special so far. 1 point in it at halftime. Adelaide 41, Canberra 40. We'll have all the analysis next. Couple of teams that demanded a response from their last round performance, and the energy and intensity has been there for all to see. Look at this from Katie Sissoko. Not once, not twice, but thrice gets the finish. And that was a big part of Canberra's run to close that first half. A 1-point game at halftime in Adelaide. The home team over the Capitals 41-40. Joel Peterson, Beck Cole, Laurie Chiswick and Laura Hodges with you in commentary. And this has been a very good game so far. It's been up and back, it's been fast, and I reckon both coaches could reasonably be pretty happy with where they're at so far in this game, Laurie.
Well, there's been lots of lead changes and nobody's really gone out by more than probably, say, 6 points. So, yes, I think, you know, they would be reasonably happy, but they'll both be talking about defensive things that they want to do, things that they want to change slightly, some tweaks to really come out the second half.
And Beck, it looks like both teams really want to get out and run. Like, the pace of this game has been quite noticeable.
It really has. We saw Sundell early in transition, as we see there. She was really aggressive in that first quarter. Then we saw some high defensive pressure, and that led to Jade Melbourne getting some transition points.
Here we see a couple of the stars in that first half. Serena Sundell's been great. 10 points, 4 of 8 shooting, hit a 3, couple of steals in there, and Sarah Blitzarves at the other end with 8 points on 3 of 6 shooting. So they've both been important for their respective teams. They've got a couple of scorers in double figures here at halftime, have the Adelaide Lightning. Steph Talbot, as always, anytime Adelaide plays, she's a big part of whatever they do. She's one of the preeminent players, one of the best players in our competition. We're going to check her shot chart thanks to Ford. And it's a pretty good-looking clip so far. We spoke earlier, only the 5 shots. It might be a little bit of surprise there, Laurie. Does she need to see a bit more of it?
Oh, well, when you're shooting the 3 ball at 50%, get the ball in her hands a little bit more. She's got good percentages, and she just is she has to be defended when she has the ball in her hands. So it takes the pressure off some of her teammates as well. And so, yes, I would still like to see the ball in her hands more.
One of the great things about her, Beck, is she does a little bit of everything, Steph Talbot.
She really does. She's been WNBL Defensive Player of the Year, and she, again, is another versatile guard. She's tall, she's strong, so she also can guard the likes of Sissoko, and she did really well. Sissoko only got going in that last couple of minutes in the second quarter.
Yeah, this game is fascinatingly poised. 41-40, Adelaide looking for a first win of the season. We've spoken about the history here in Adelaide in terms of basketball, and a couple of players who've got plenty of it. The Freer sisters, part of this Adelaide Lightning team. Let's find out a little bit more about them.
Hi, I'm Maddie Freer.
Hi, I'm Geordie Freer.
Obviously super special being able to play in the same team as Mum, and obviously I'm wearing her number that she wore when she was in the team and won the back-to-back in the 1990s. We both grew up playing juniors in Adelaide and supporting the Adelaide Lightning, and I guess being able to put on the uniform and represent the town you grew up in is, so special.
To be in a position to be a role model for younger girls is something that I didn't think I would ever do. So that's really special. And obviously being a part of this new era is really, really exciting.
Got a great contest on our hands here at the SA State Basketball Centre. Adelaide lead at 41-40, looking for their first win of the season. A lot of excitement around South Australian basketball. A big game for the 36ers tomorrow in the NBL, as well as they host the Illawarra Hawks. And Laura Hodges has found DJ Vasiljevic in the crowd. Laura.
Hi DJ, it's so good to have you here. What are you liking about the Lightning right now?
Just the atmosphere. Girls are playing really good. Obviously got off to a good start, and the Capitals came and chipped away. But we've got a 1-point lead. Hopefully they can keep this lead up.
And is there any particular players that you love to watch and you love their style of game?
No, it's just all about supporting women's basketball. Obviously I was introduced to the game of basketball because of my sister. So anything to support women in their basketball careers, I'm willing to do so.
And tomorrow you've got a big game against the Illawarra Hawks. How are you feeling going into that game?
Yeah, good. I think we made good strides against a really good Melbourne United team last week. Obviously a disappointing loss, but we prepared well the whole week, and hopefully we can go out and get another win.
And I love the merch. Are you loving the new uniform and how it all looks and the Indigenous Guernsey?
Yeah, I'm all about the rebrand of the Lightning. Obviously Indigenous round for both the women and the men, and obviously my partner's half Indigenous, so it's a great round to celebrate, and yeah, celebrate all the culture behind it as well.
Well, it's great to have you here, and good luck tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Laura Hodges and DJ Vasiljevic. I tell you what, there's a lot of scoring punch between those two in that particular interview. Two that can fill it up with the absolute best of them.
Who do you reckon's winning one-on-one, Hodges or Vasiljevic? Let's go.
I'm going to put my cards on the table here and say I'll take Laura. Just to take DJ down to the block and
Amen.
Little turnaround. This is still to come tonight. Geelong and Perth. Perth undefeated. Geelong, we know they can put up points in an awful hurry, so they host the Perth Lynx. 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, 6:30 in South Australia, 4 o'clock out west. That is still to come. Looking forward to seeing what the Lynx do. Ali Wilson and Steph Gorman both back for Perth this evening, Laurie, which is a big boost indeed.
Absolutely. They'll be really welcome back into that lineup. And unfortunately, which we'll talk about at another stage, but a few outs for Geelong. So anything can happen in a game, as we know. We always talk about the closeness of this competition, and anybody can win on any given night. And besides the two big losses that both these teams had prior to this game, for the rest of the games in round 1 and 2 and last night's game, they have been won or lost by a average margin of 6 points. So that shows the closeness of this competition, and anybody can beat anybody on night, and you have to be ready.
As we saw last night, Townsville being beaten by Southside by how many points, Laurie?
6 points.
6
Thank
points.
you. Thank you.
On the money. 41-40 as we get started here in this second half. Adelaide and Canberra. Beck, one of the big discrepancies in the game to half-time is the offensive rebounding count, where the Capitals have really taken control.
It sure has been. We heard Sundell at half-time saying they needed to do a better job on their rebounding, especially on the defensive end. And I think that's a big thing that has kept the Capitals in the game, is those second chance points, the second chance opportunities. And they've got 12 offensive rebounds right now. So I think if Adelaide can perform and clean up those rebounds, they definitely have a great chance to come out with a W.
12 offensive rebounds for 11 second chance points. Katie Sissoko doing star jumps there, trying to stop the inbound, using all of her length.
Look at her length. It's
grew up in the inner suburbs of Paris and has travelled the basketball world. Great pickup she's been for this Capitals team. Adelaide to start with the rock here in this second half. Lockridge tries the wraparound from underneath the basket. Hodge picks it off. Starters back out there for Canberra. Morale, nice finish, spinning inside.
We'll need to keep an eye on Jade Melbourne. She's got the 3. She'll be playing with the 3 fouls.
The only player out there with 3 fouls in the ball game. Just Fijo's got 3, but sitting on the bench for Adelaide at the moment. Sundell, Talbot, Rabati and Fagan also have 2 for Adelaide. Here is tonight Fagan, who started the game really, really well and continues in that vein.
I like that look from her, getting the ball inside. It was a nice deep seal. She held that seal, demanded the ball. They got it to her, and she finished strongly.
First 6 buckets of the second quarter gave us lead changes. First 2 of the third quarter give us lead changes. Adelaide can try and build an advantage, which they've done in both of these terms so far. Canberra have closed stronger. They led 17-4 in the early going. Did the Lightning. Paul Goris called a timeout. Canberra then went on a 17-2 run to take the lead. The Lightning controlled it in that second quarter. Sarah Blitzarves is called for the offensive foul.
I don't mind that though by Sarah. I know she got a foul, but she read the mismatch. She threw the ball back to Nadia Poch on the wing, saw she had the mismatch with Dallas Lockridge on her, and went to post up. So I'm happy with that. That's reading the play. She'll score that 9 times out of 10.
Talbot guarded by Sissoko. Great matchup it is between the two stars for these teams. Talbot outside. Rabadi the 3. Jade Melbourne looked like she was playing in the goal square for the Demons then, just with the fend off and reeling the ball in with 1 mid. Be playing full forward somewhere.
And isn't this a great matchup of these 2 point guards right here? Both so quick, both aggressive on offense. It's going to be a fun one to watch in this second half.
Melbourne, the quote-unquote experienced of them at 23. So there's a lot of future buckets between those two and steals as Lockridge comes away with it. Sundell wants to push it in transition. Got Morell up in the air but couldn't finish. Its arms back the other way for the Caps. They looked so good in round 1, beating Southside, and went down last week as Sarah Blitzarves gets inside, gives them back the lead, and she's the first Capital into double figures with 10.
And just what a great, simple UCLA cut. That's what we learn in under-12s, but it's not done that often in the WNBL. And she just fed the ball, simple cut, easy basket for 2.
Talbot outside, Rabadi another 3. That one's strong. Leading the rebounding count 28-18, the Capitals. Melbourne inside, tried to scoop it home, it rolled off the rim.
Do you think, Beck, that was a way Jade Melbourne trying to get herself in the game? It really almost looked like a forced shot, like I'm really going to go all the way here and try and you know, get myself into the game somehow.
Yes, I don't think it was the right shot for that time in the play, but like we said earlier, we want to see her get more involved in the offense and be aggressive.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to get 2 feet in the paint, see that go down, and it just gets you going a little bit on the offensive end.
So Capitals by 1, 6:55 remaining. Just a little timeout here called by the referees. So Canberra have the advantage early in this third term. So Paul Goris and Karen Mitchell getting a chance to talk it over with their respective teams in a game that's been close throughout after Adelaide jumped out of the blocks. Canberra have won the last 2 between these 2 teams, 2-1 across the course of last season, Beck.
And Laurie, we spoke about Jade Melbourne just before. Do you think you look at an action like Sarah, off-ball action for Jade to get herself going, rather always being in the pick and roll when we know she's going to have one of the best defensive players on her? Do we see her maybe get the opportunity to pass off the ball and get a shot off a flare screen or off a back cut?
I think that's a really good point, Beck, because often when you're the ball handler and you distribute the ball, you don't necessarily get it back all the time. So to set something up specifically off the ball for her, coming off a screen, is a really good option.
So Canberra by 1, 44-43, 6:45 remaining here in this third term. Joel Peterson alongside Laurie Chiswick and Beck Cole. Laura Hodges is courtside. Some of the thinking here, no doubt, would be how they can get Jade Melbourne a little bit more involved in this game. 4 points, so 1 of 4 shooting for Melbourne so far. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Sort of walking triple-double threat type stuff. But it feels like she hasn't had the kind of impact that she could have in this game yet.
That's the thing, she's doing everything else on the floor.
Yeah.
She's up and in, she's getting these steals. We all know she's a great facilitator as well. This is the thing, she's so young and we're expecting so much from her. I just think she is a key piece and the head of the snake, really, for the Canberra Capitals.
Certainly comes from the place of knowing what she can do and has done in this competition, rather than what she might be capable of.
And it's still early. It's round 3. It's a really new team. Everyone's still finding where they fit in and what their role is.
Morell's happy to play off Fagan here. Fagan uses the space to get all the way inside. Taking advantage of the latitude given to her by the defense to put it on the floor.
Yeah, she wasn't going to shoot that the scout is stand off of her, and that's exactly what they did. But just the smallest of little shot fakes there, got the defender in the air, and it was a really good then put, even though she knew she wasn't probably going to make it, sends her to the line.
And she's smart, and she knows plays around the basket. She was the 3x3 MVP at the Under-23 World Cup, so she knows physicality, and she knows how to finish around the rim.
So 44 apiece. As Sinai Fagan makes the second free throw. Morell can't handle a pass from Melbourne. And a turnover for the Capitals, number 10 in the ball game. In fact, 11 in the ball game for Canberra. Same for Adelaide thus far. Both had 14 in their respective games last week.
I like the fact, Beck, that this year I feel like we're seeing more full court defense. Teams picking up full court as opposed to letting other teams walk the ball up or run the ball up. Have you found that in your games you've watched?
I agree. There's much more intent about picking the ball up full court. And I think that's why we're also seeing more subs and people going deep into their bench, because players are working hard out there.
Talbot on the drive, absorbs some contact and is fouled. What do you think the influence for that would be? You watch a team, even at the NBA level, like the Indiana Pacers, who would really pressure the ball. It seems like more NBA teams are doing that now. We see it a little bit in the WNBA. It's filtered down to the likes of Southeast Melbourne in the NBL. Does that influence start at the sort of the very top level of basketball that coaches are watching, Laurie? Or how would that come about, do you think?
Well, I think that the style of play within the WNBL has been about making it quicker and faster pace. And when you actually play full court defense, it picks up the pace of the game. And so I think that goes hand in hand with the style. You want to play quick at both ends. So picking up full court makes the offense feel like they need to go quicker as well.
Taxing way to go about business, but certainly proving effective. Speaking of, Sissoko, very effective with the turnarounds. Another lead change to start this third term. Trading blows again. 5 already in terms of lead changes here in this third quarter. Sundell, Fagan, long 2, got it. Hands Adelaide the lead straight back.
Fagan's certainly having much more of an influence in this game than she did in the last one where Adelaide played, and she looks like she's active both ends of the court.
At 9-4 and 3 in 23 minutes last time out. Sinai Fagan, she's got 9 and 6 already in this one on 4 of 9 shooting. Defensive presence was there right from the start on the opening possession. Sundell looking for a handoff, didn't see anyone there. Fagan from outside did shoot that one.
I was going to say, yeah, the confidence is rising.
Must have heard you, Laurie, I think. Foul down low, that one was on Fagan. Sheen Morell getting into it underneath the bucket. Fagan's going to check out of the game with her third. So 47-46, Adelaide still ahead, 4:28 remaining in the third period. Let's check in courtside with Laura Hodges.
I'm sitting very close to the Canberra bench, and now that they're down the defensive end, Nat Hurst, she's that vocal coach off the bench that's calling every play, every defensive strategy, and it's great to listen to her, how she just talks through the strategy for her team.
Great basketball mind. Nat Hurst, of course.
And this is a great matchup, not only for Adelaide and Caps with the players, but also for the coaches. You have Karen Mitchell, who assists Nat Hurst with the New Zealand Tall Ferns. So you know what? They're going to know a pretty good scout against each other, and this will be a bit of fun for those two ladies.
Nat Hurst, who, of course, was the coach of the Lightning for a hot minute.
Well, and Adelaide have a few New Zealand players on their team, so the coach, you know, she's going to know a lot about, Nat Hurst is going to know a lot about them and their scouts as well.
3 Kiwis on this Adelaide team. Certainly got the connection there to Fayono, Rabadi, Strawbridge. 49-46, 4:15 remaining here in the third period.
And you talk about the assistants for Canberra. Well, the assistants for Adelaide, Cherie Cordoba was Cherie Hogg, and when she played, and then Marina Wood, who we all know is an ex-Adelaide great player. She's managing and helping out as well. So some really quality people and experience on both benches.
Helps to have that around your program, no doubt about that. You can test your knowledge of the WNBL teams and players by playing the WNBL quiz. Scan the QR code on screen to get involved. Test yourself in terms of how much you know about this WNBL competition.
I think Laurie would get an A+ for that quiz. I would like you to do the quiz and get back to us. Thank you.
And then can you do ours as well? So
I've heard you guys talking about who would get who over what, and I'm very intrigued by that. I think it should be a requirement of the commentators to take the test and submit their scores.
Might have to investigate that, I think. It's Jackie Dover, one of our referees this afternoon. Proud Indigenous woman, of course. Sister Cassie designed the Brisbane Bullets Indigenous round kits in the NBL. Of course, former professional player and now coach in southeast Queensland, and the Dovers are a really strong basketball family with the First Nations background, so terrific to have Jackie officiating here in WNBL Indigenous round. There's your top 5 scorers in the game. Serena Sundell and Nicole Munger chatting it up at the moment. Sundell and Talbot both in double figures, as are Sissoko and Blitzarves. Adelaide shooting 46% from the field, Canberra just 38%, 30% from downtown. They're 3 of 10, Adelaide 5 of 15. Both teams have left a little bit out there at the free throw line as well. Adelaide 8 of 13, Canberra 9 of 14. 11 turnovers to 12.
Not sure whether Laura can tell us anything about what's actually happening down there. Is it another referee's timeout?
At the moment, the main scoreboard is having just fault after fault, and so they have to keep disconnecting, reconnecting, getting very stressed out down here, and it's a little bit frustrating for the coaches too. So I'm sort of helping the coaches as they go along to actually tell them the real score from my phone, because it is just a real shambles right now.
I did notice at the back of one of those shots, Nat Hurst just leaning across to Laura. I wasn't sure quite what she was asking for, some defensive coverage advice, or there you go, the coach is coming to our very own Laura Hodges just for a little bit of a score update. 3:57 remaining, it's 49-46. Adelaide ahead.
And the players have done well just to keep going on with the game, because sometimes you can get frustrated because it kills your momentum. But both teams have really stayed calm.
Seen them huddling up, particularly that Canberra team walking back over to the sideline to chat with Paul Goris. So Fayono, Sundell, Lockridge, Talbot and Brazel out there for Adelaide at the moment. Morel, Melbourne, Munger, Sissoko and Blitzarves for the Capitals. Lockridge turns the corner, floats it home.
I really liked the movement of Tofiano on that play. She set a good screen, she rolled. As Lockridge went to the basket, she was there prepared to get the pass and had to be defended, so it cleared the way for Lockridge. Really nice teamwork.
Tofiano spent a bit of time with the Capitals as well as Townsville before signing with Adelaide for this season. 16 minutes a game in their first 2 outings of the season. Adelaide chasing a first win of this WNBL26 campaign. Here is Tofiano working inside. A little bit too much time down there.
Yeah, that's the thing when you seal down low and you're asking for the ball and it takes a while to get into you, you've got to make sure you get your shot up quickly.
You see that full court pressure paying dividends again. Lockridge forcing the turnover. So both teams keen to press in this game. Canberra with the advantage on the rebound count, up by 7. Still 12 offensive boards, none so far in this term as Tofiano's 3 goes around and out. Took a lap around the sun and didn't fall. Melbourne directing traffic at the other end. Morel baseline, up and under. Got to a really good spot, worried out of it, gets it back, has another go. It still doesn't fall, but she'll go to the stripe.
And they're the offensive rebounds we're talking about that are just keeping Capitals in this and just a few points away. But someone else who's also done a good job is Jade Melbourne, not getting a 4th foul just yet in this quarter. They really need her to steer the ship for the Caps and get execution on the offensive end.
Morel at the line, has no trouble with the first one. 15 from the strike so far. The Capitals, second will fall as well. 3-point ball game.
Well, I think that 5-point margin that's just been cut to 3 was the biggest margin we've had for a while because it's just been back and forth. 1-point lead, switch the lead. It's been a terrific game.
Has indeed. Right you are, Laurie. Canberra have led 3 times in this quarter, all by 1 point. Adelaide's 5-point lead, the biggest of this 3rd term. Fijo back out there now for the Lightning. Fagan long 2, splash.
Got to make an adjustment. That's the 2nd shot she's made from that exact spot, that elbow area.
Plus 15 in the ballgame now, Sanaya Fagan. 11 points, 6 rebounds. Blitzards in attack mode. Terrific defense from Taylor Brazel. Sundell's off and running. Working her way through the key. Found the contact and ended up going up and down with it.
That was great footwork that she had against Nadia Potts. She actually got her up, but Sarah Blitzarth just stood strong and tall and forced Sundell into a turnover.
Offensive foul called here. Jazz Fijo getting up and in and absorbing some contact.
We're seeing bodies on the floor tonight, aren't we? It's been a physical game on both ends.
Take another look at it here.
Yeah.
And fortunately for Canberra, well, in a way, Morel was called for the foul, so her 3rd and not Melbourne's 4th. 5-point lead here for Adelaide.
So that was good active hands by Jade Melbourne, getting in the passing lane and just forcing that turnover because she was there and the player had to make sure that she, you know, the lead wasn't quite strong enough. Ooh.
Now the big screen near mid-court.
Fijo probably thinks she's back playing out AFLW, but now she's just copped 2 here.
Out in the ruck for the Sturt Double Blues just up the road. This would be 50-metre penalty type stuff, potentially.
Well, that brings Munger up to 3 fouls as well.
Fijo just had her bell rung at mid-court. So a little bit of foul trouble now for Paul Goris to navigate. Munger and Morel both sitting with the 3 fouls and rolling with Melbourne and Blitzarves, who've also got 3. Poch gets a hand in on Fijo, who's in and among everything, diving on the loose ball, can't come up with it. Poch the other way, slapped away by Fagan, and it'll go back with Adelaide. What a sequence.
What a defensive stop by Adelaide. But what I love right there, Nadia Poch hands up and in. That's how Jade Melbourne got the stop before. She's so long and athletic. But Fagan, what hands has she had today?
That timing of getting that before the ball went up on the release was sensational.
Another turnover right in front of Paul Goris and the Canberra bench.
But Canberra have got 3 stops in a row. This is what they need to keep doing. Get stops, but now they need to execute and they need to score on the offensive end just to keep chipping away at this.
Only the 20 points combined between these two teams in this third quarter, so both defenses are really buckling down here to start this second half.
It is definitely a defensive grind right now, and we know that Adelaide have averaged in their first 2 games to give away 93 points, so to keep the UC Caps to 48 right now is a real big effort.
They gave up 110 last time out. Canberra gave up 105 last time out. It was always going to be a focus. Here comes Talbot, straight down Main Street.
And good decision by Talbot to take it right at Jade Melbourne. She couldn't do a lot, Jade, knowing she's got those 3 fouls.
Sarah Blitzarves is called for the over and back. Just came off the foot there. So a turnover will open the door for Adelaide and maybe a chance for them to do what they didn't do in the opening 2 quarters and try and build some momentum going into the break. Take another look at Steph Talbot. Like she was driving down King William Street on a Sunday morning. No one in front of her on the Amy replay.
And what a move. With the right hand, pulled a hesitation into a crossover, finished with the left. I think Adelaide Lightning might be practicing that because that's been a few players doing that exact same move.
Well, we see that foul on Sarah. Forces her to the bench with 30 seconds to go with her 4th foul. That is big. And it also sends Adelaide to the line.
So 4 on Blitzarves, 3 on Munger, 3 on Melbourne, 3 on Morel now. Talbot can't take advantage at the stripe. She's 3 of 5 in the ball game. Adelaide 8 of 14 from the free throw line.
Well, this is a massive 8-point lead.
In the context of this second half, it certainly is. Canberra have only scored 8 points in this third quarter so far. Babongi down low for Clark. The youngsters combining to get it done.
And again, off-ball movement. Babongi got 2 feet in the paint that Jayden Clark saw that her play's head was resting and she got that lovely backdoor cut.
Shot clock switched off. Lockridge all the way inside. Lays it home to beat the buzzer of three-quarter time. Isn't Dallas Lockridge making a name for herself in Adelaide? And she takes the lead back out to 8 with a quarter to go. It is Adelaide 58 to Canberra 50 on their home floor looking for their first win. It is the Lightning by 8 with a quarter to go. What a way to enter the third term for Adelaide, and Dallas Lockridge, time winding down, gets all the way inside and lays it home to hand her team an 8-point lead going into the final term. 58-50, yet to taste victory in this WNBL26 season, but they are right on the precipice, are the Adelaide Lightning. Joel Peterson, Beck Cole, Laurie Chiswick and Laura Hodges with you. First leg of a Saturday doubleheader. Geelong and Perth still to come, as well as what should be a terrific final term between these two teams. A game that has had 16 lead changes thus far. Could yet have another twist in the tail over this final 10 minutes. Serena Sundell with 12 points. Lockridge has 13.
Wow.
It leads Adelaide 14, and Sanaya Fagan's having a real impact.
Well, it wasn't only the finish, it was the pass to her from Steph Talbot, the high-low. It was picture perfect.
Canberra come up empty at the other end.
Just moving the ball so well. They have 4 players in double figures compared to Canberra only having 2. They're really finding each other.
Cross-court pass to Sundell. She ran into the traffic, and it's a 10-point margin. Nearly a minute played in this final term. Let's check in with Laura in the early stages of this final quarter.
Well, at three-quarter time, it was very different vibes at both ends. Adelaide was very calm, very poised. Karen was really happy with how they were going, but from Paul Goris, he was very clear. He wants the girls to move their feet, no more middle penetration, and defend with real passion.
See what they can come up with here in this final term. Down by 10 at the moment, and that might get something going at that end of the floor.
And we can tell both teams this week, the focus has been defense. Both teams are on 16 turnovers. Adelaide just got their 17th one. Definitely not what they want to see, but it just shows how much hustle and heart both teams are playing with on that end of the floor.
Do you think that's what a 35-point deficit for both these teams does to you? And certainly the coaches would have been focusing on that all week, but what a shot by Munger to bring that margin back down to 7 points.
Great time to hit your first 3 of the campaign. She's hit plenty of them for the Newcastle Falcons in the NBL 1. It's the first of her WNBL season. 7-point lead. Lockridge driving, takes some contact from Melbourne. That has been a great duel all afternoon. 4 fouls on Jade Melbourne, 3 points. And Dallas Lockridge with 13 on 5 of 7 shooting, 3 assists.
Well, smart move by Lockridge to attack Melbourne. She's got her 3. If you can get her in 4 early, then she has to play a little bit differently. We know Sarah Blitzhaus is also on 4 fouls.
Long 2 won't go for Lockridge. You can get the WNBL app, stay in the loop, download the free WNBL app, scan the QR code on screen now, head to your app store. Even the coaches have been using it, courtesy of our own Laura Hodges in this game. So, people watching the game are using it, people during the game are using it at certain times, when permitted, of course. 7-point lead to Adelaide. Fagan misses underneath. Melbourne goes up and gets it. Maybe not particularly pleased with the treatment. Oh, she had the ball there, Jade Melbourne.
But this is what happens when you have a game with this intensity and passion. You get into a scenario like that. I know I've been a part of it. I know the referee called a jump ball, but I want the ball when we leave. I want you to know how I'm feeling and that I'm on top right now. It's a power move.
Unlucky for Jade Melbourne that it went against her. Brazel, here's Fagan at that elbow spot again. They can't secure the rebound. Sissoko tried to go with one hand. Brazel from outside, no good. And Lockridge recycles the possession with some real intensity. Down low to Fagan, who scores. And Paul Goris not best pleased with that. 9-point lead lead to Adelaide off the bucket from Sanaya Fagan, who's up to 15 in the game.
Well, they only had 4 offensive rebounds to three-quarter time, so what a great time to come up with 2 very crucial O boards that end up in a score. If we can see here on the Amy replay, 1 shot there, another rebound, hand to it by Lockridge, the desperation, and then that nice finish.
And Lockridge got that offensive rebound coming from the other side of the floor. So Adelaide wants it right now. Caps, now it's your turn. You need to box out.
They didn't have a second chance point in either the second or third quarters, Adelaide. The offensive rebound there from Lockridge delivered them one. They have handed her the keys to the offense, their young point guard. And she is delivering so far 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Coming up after this, it is the Geelong Venom taking on the Perth Lynx from the Pivot City. Geelong looking for their second win of the season. Perth have already got 2. They came from behind against Sydney. They held on against Adelaide. I'll be hoping they can do it a little bit easier, but they will not have it all their own way on the road against Geelong this evening. So 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, that game still to come your way this afternoon. Joel Peterson alongside Laurie Chiswick, Beck Cole, Laura Hodges is courtside with you. Saturday hoops in the WNBL, a double header. Bendigo and Sydney from Bendigo tomorrow before Perth and Townsville close the round on Tuesday. Still here in round 3 as Morel comes out of the timeout and gets just what Canberra wanted.
She's tough, Morel. You know, she's just a hard worker. She positions her body, she's strong, and that was tough, that shot.
And she's come in for injured Zatina Akuzo. And again, another nice pass from Brazel to Talbot. They are reading each other. They're in the right spots. It's so impressive.
Well, that was a complete defensive breakdown from Canberra. Talbot wide open under there.
15 assists in the game on 25 made field goals for Adelaide. Sissoko looking inside. Who did that last touch? Munga.
And you can see the Caps just being a little frazzled right now. If something doesn't go their way, their heads down. But that's a great off-ball movement cut from Munga and a great look from Sissoko. They just need to stay confident and keep going with it.
Adelaide by 9, 64-55. 6:40 remaining here in this final quarter, looking for their first win of the season. Talbot sees a double team, plenty of pressure, and she is fouled. Let's check in courtside with Laura Hodges.
Well, guys, I am loving the physicality of this game, but I think it's actually favouring Adelaide right now. But that last timeout, Beck, you've been in many of these timeouts before. Paul Goris was pretty much saying, tag your player, box out and get the rebound, with a lot of aggression into his face. So we know what he means by that. But I think the way that Adelaide are playing, they are just really, really taking on this physicality.
And the way this woman's playing, she's taking it on and rising to it. Double-double for Fagan of 17 and 10. Clearly her best performance for this Adelaide team so far this season.
Well, it's really nice to see when somebody like Fagan has a less than probably great start to the season in her first 2 games, has a chat to the coach and responds and comes out and plays like this. Now we look at her and go, you're an import that can have an impact on this competition.
Do you think she would have been sort of challenged to maybe step up during the week?
Absolutely. And I think you need to do that. If, you know, again, she's not sure what the competition is like maybe and came in, but they need her playing like that. As we see Munger just a nice little slice to the basket. But yes, they need Fagan playing like that the way she has today.
A couple of times they've got what they wanted out of a stoppage, Canberra, so onto the right stuff at the right time. It's just slowed down for them in the half court. Brazel attacking the closeout, tosses it away. Does Melbourne have the help required here? Looks inside, Munga floats it home. Back to a 7-point game. And now Karen Mitchell wants to make sure these Caps can't get a run on.
And that was great patience by Melbourne in that transition. She didn't really want to shoot that jump shot over 2 players. She waited for Munga, who was running down the floor. Morel as well, draw 2, and a great pass from Melbourne there.
I'm going to finish over the outstretched arms Jade Melbourne with 8 assists in the game now, so 1 of 4. She did attempt a field goal in that third quarter, but is facilitating the offense nicely, playing with 4 fouls. Here's the next 4 for Canberra, so that's a pretty tough run against all finalists from last season. The Flames twice. They've got the Spirit away and Townsville away.
Well, I think whenever you talk to coaches and they, you talk to them about what's ahead, everybody has tough games, and they, they acknowledge that it's, we've got this, it's going to be tough, but every team is in that situation where they're going to have a patch where it's particularly difficult. Townsville on the road for how many games or whatever it is, and they just have to get on with it.
And that's why it's so important for Adelaide to get their first win at home. Home wins are crucial early on. You might not think it right now, but then you get midway through the season and you wish you could have had those ones back. So right now, Adelaide really want to come away with the dub.
Got a 4-game road stand mid-season. They're at Bendigo, at Canberra, at Sydney, at Bendigo.
Yeah.
So every team will spend their time on the road. When you're in your own surrounds, you need to be banking good results. Lockridge guarded by Potch. Looks down low.
Oh, and she was trying hard to get out of the key. She knew that she had planted in there too long, had posted up. Her teammates didn't see her earlier enough, and that's the second 3-second call that she's had.
And I like that again. Potch was on the ball. She's been great on ball on the point guard. She's so much longer, but she's quick, she's athletic. She makes a pass from Dallas into Rabadi. Yeah. Super hard.
If you're a guard, you don't really want Nadia Potch switching onto you. Strong finish underneath from Morel, who's really starting to get going here in this final term.
Hasn't she just been a calming presence inside, Laurie? She just goes about her business, but she's been super successful.
That one rolls off the rim for Sundale, and it'll go back with Canberra.
Well, as our co-commentator, Damon Lowry, would say, it's now officially crunch time. Less than 5 minutes to go, 5-point ball game.
Cheerio to Damon. He's been in the news this week.
Wow, there you go.
There's Morel again with the left hand.
Force her right. If she's on that side of the floor, you have to force her middle. She just made 3 left-hand layups, but keep going to her.
Well, keep going to her, but defensively, try fronting her. Try something different. Don't get stuck behind.
8 points in a row for the Capitals. And they are thrilled with what they're doing at both ends of the floor right now. They've held Adelaide to only 8 points in the quarter thus far. They've scored the last 8 in the game.
And don't you love to see that? Her teammates are getting around her, not only for what she's doing on offense, but on defense.
Morel's got 13 now. Second leading scorer for Canberra in the game. Munga's got 14. Time winding down here. Talbot up top. He's going to have to fire away. Ran out of time. Nicole Munga is hyped. And Canberra right on the comeback trail.
And again, the length of Potch. Talbot went to back up, wasn't too sure what to do. I love seeing her on the ball.
Foul on Lockridge. As Melbourne was trying to free herself, and now for a young team and new team still trying to come together in Adelaide, Laurie, this is a big challenge to try and settle this game down.
Well, it is. You can see Coach Karen Mitchell there on the screen. And it's all about momentum and scoreboard pressure. And right now, the Caps are putting that scoreboard pressure on. They've got all the momentum, and it's really going to be a challenge for Adelaide to weather this storm.
Here's Munga for 3, looking to tie it up. Morel trying to come up with another play.
And it's hard when you're defending a 3-point lead not to just be a little bit passive and try and play not to lose instead of playing to win. So Adelaide really need to still be the aggressors here.
Sundell, Lockridge, Talbot, Rabadi and Fagan out there for the Lightning. Morel, Melbourne, Munga, Potch, Blitzarves for Canberra. 3.5 minutes to go. Adelaide have led by as many as 13 in the game, led by 11 earlier in the term. Lockridge for 3, no good. Rebound to Munga. Canberra Canberra have led for 4 minutes in the contest. Melbourne left it short. And it'll stay at this end of the floor.
But that is a shot from Jade Melbourne that I like to see.
Absolutely.
Wide open on the left-hand side. She's only young, but that is vintage Jade Melbourne.
That's an early vintage.
Yeah.
Might need to stay in the cellar for a little while yet, that particular vintage. But it'll age beautifully, though.
It sure will.
Munga left side of the floor. Blitzarv's up top. Drops it inside for Morel, who fouls Talbot. Coming across, playing cornerback with the interception.
And that is great defense from Talbot, because the way Morel's going, that was going to be another 2 points with that mismatch inside.
And that's her 4th foul as well.
No stranger to making big defensive plays is Steph Talbot.
Yes.
At all levels of basketball.
Yes. Does that block come to mind?
Oh, my
Harris?
Lord. I think I just about jumped through the television watching that.
And Caps still need to be aggressive on defense now, but that's their 5th team foul. So each time that's sending Adelaide to the stripe. There's still 3 minutes left in the game, so they need to be clean.
Beck Cole, Laurie Chiswick with you in commentary.
Tell you, neither team have shot the free throws particularly well, and as we always say, it can come down to free throws in a really close contest.
11 of 17 Adelaide, 11 of 16 Canberra. Munga looks down low. Morel wanted to get to her left. Now gets back to it. Can't finish this time. Better defense. Sundell that time, who stood strong. Tosses it inside for Fagan. Loses the handle. There is tension in every possession right now. They've only led for fewer than 4 minutes in the game, Canberra. Adelaide have been in the catbird seat for the majority of this one. And with time winding down, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes remaining, it is Adelaide by 5. Looking for a first win of the season. Tomorrow's game in Bendigo, 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Izzy Borlase was absolutely fantastic last time out. And they take on the Sydney Flames, who got off to a red-hot start against Perth and then got rolled over the top of last Sunday. 2 finalists from last year again meeting, Laurie, and plenty of stars on show in this one.
Well, I feel like every game that we have in each round seems, one, important, 2 good matchups. It's
2 of the better scorers in the competition. Loz Nicholson has been terrific so far this season, and Izzy Borlase really acquainted herself to that home crowd, who I was up there on Tuesday in the venue. And they love few people like Kelsey Griffin in Bendigo, but Izzy Borlase is, I reckon, a close second and finishing quickly. So that's to come tomorrow. Perth, Townsville on Tuesday, and of course, don't forget Geelong and Perth a little bit later on this evening, 7 o'clock. 5-point game here, 2.5 minutes remaining. Munga to Morel. It's been the recipe for success so far in this final term. Potch now on the catch, driving inside, high off the glass, won't go. Morel again underneath, another tough finish.
She is up to 15 points, Morel.
Having a real say, as is Sanaya Fagan at the other end.
And isn't this a great matchup right now? Fagan on Morel. They are putting on a show.
Sanaya Fagan is showing why Adelaide was so keen to secure her signature. Melbourne surveying. Morel down low. There's going to be a hold on Rabati as Blitzarves was trying to make the space.
The thing is, and we see this on the Amy replay here, the almost just a nice blow by, but great rebound and finish. But Adelaide have a couple of fouls to give, so they aren't going to send them to the line yet, which is certainly really important.
16 offensive rebounds for 16 second chance points for the Caps. 8 for 7 for Adelaide. Morel the target of the pass once more to her right hand this time, and Fagan wasn't having it.
And I love that they're going into Morel, but now the next thing is they need to move off her.
Offensive foul on Rabati, who clattered into Nadia Potch.
I have to say the referees have been very consistent in that call all game.
They really have. I think, especially in transition when you're going quick, it's quite hard. As the big, you want to hit the defender, but also you're on the move. But the referees have been very even with that call all game.
Same play here for Canberra. They go to Morel again, and she's called for the walk. Just falling to the floor, tried to get the pass away in desperation. And trailed by 8 at three-quarter time did Canberra. Trailed by 11 earlier this term. Margin is 5 at the moment. And Adelaide and Karen Mitchell are just trying to hold them off.
Oh my goodness, her first year of coaching, her 3rd game in the WNBL, and she's been under a lot of pressure.
Finding out what the tension is all about. Knows it well second hand, but not necessarily first, the head coaching role. Here's Sundell driving to the hoop.
Potch and Blitzov switched, and she just found that gap, but what great hang time and finish for Sundell.
Melbourne going to call that a pass to herself rather than an offensive rebound. Outside for Potch. Would have been a big hit had she been able to knock it down. Important defensive rebound for Sundell. Under a minute remaining, Adelaide by 7. And they can wind some time off the clock here. An edge ever closer to her first victory of the season. Melbourne playing with 4 fouls. Lockridge gets past her, tries to lay it home, can't finish. Melbourne still on the floor underneath the basket, so Canberra will go 4 on 5. Blitzers for 3. No good. Talbot with the rebound.
Well, they need to foul right away if they want to get that clock stopped.
Unger only had the 3 and elected not to foul in the backcourt. And now the foul does come in the front court. You can see the sign being held up by 2 young Lightning fans there. Fear the Thunder, fear the Lightning. There might be a few teams that do that going into Adelaide this season because they played Perth tough in their opening game. And now they are only moments away from potentially sealing this one. Dallas Lockridge misses the first at the line.
Well, again, going towards trend. It's a 7-point ball game right now.
Second free throw rattles home. 8-point lead to Adelaide. New look venue for Adelaide this season. So much is new about this team. One thing that is new about women's basketball in South Australia is the Lightning winning, and they get back to their winning ways. Their first taste of victory this season for the Adelaide Lightning. And they get the job done for Karen Mitchell, 73-65. And that is one that they will savour indeed, the home crowd. Another big crowd in at Wayville. And for the first time this season, that team will taste the spoils of victory. 8-point lead to the 8-point win to the Lightning. We'll be back with more right after this. First win of this young season for the Adelaide Lightning. A whole new look. The same old result for basketball in Adelaide. A win to the Lightning. They get it done by 8 in the end. Laurie Chusick and Beck Cole to break down our full match stats. What stands out among all that, Laurie?
Well, to me, when you look across the board, it's actually pretty even, but it was really the defense at the end of that fourth quarter by Adelaide that stood out to me. They stood strong when Canberra were coming back, and they managed to stay there for the victory.
Now, player of the games tonight, Fagan, what a performance she put together, Beck.
She really did, and she was the one player I really wanted to step up, especially for round 3. And she proved tonight, when she gets going, she's a big asset for this team and someone they need to keep getting wins on the board.
Absolutely. So the Lightning get their first win of the season. You can see there they move ahead of the Capitals on our Bunnings Warehouse ladder. Perth undefeated, Geelong 1 and 2. They are still to come a little bit later on this evening, so plenty to like about the late game tonight in this WNBL doubleheader. Great win for the Lightning. Still more to come later this afternoon.
How about